What up? I've been sick, you could probably hear it. But anyways, this video isn't for people that know me, it's for people that don't know me, right? So I made a tweet that I turned into a thread and I said something along the lines of like, if you want to get fluent in Spanish, like do these things. And it got a lot more traction than I expected. So I just want to expand on some of that stuff so that I can help you guys better. And so I'm gonna break this up into a couple different parts. Kind of like the foundations, what acquiring a language is, how to do that, how to go about doing it, things that I think you should avoid, and just like I'll answer some questions that people DM me or set in a thread just so I could kind of put it all in one spot. So first of all, if you've taken Spanish in school or you tried to learn it from an app or whatever, then you know that like trying to learn a language sucks. And if you don't think it does, you're probably like still hopeful, right? You're still being optimistic. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get it eventually. Bro, you've been on whatever you've been on for years and you still can't have a fluid conversation. It's not working, bro. Like people learn Spanish in less than a year and have full conversations all the time. So, what is acquiring a language? Acquiring it is doing what you did in English, basically. You got a bunch of input, and through context, you started to understand stuff, right? And then you tried to say it on your own. Maybe you had to get corrected, maybe you didn't. Most of the time, you have to get corrected. You often hear kids, like, they try to say three, and they say free, stuff like that. Or, like, you say, like, oh, I run really fast to the store. And your parents got to be like, no, you ran, idiot. You ran, you didn't run. So stuff like that, right? It's just you get experience with the language, you practice it, people correct you, you get better. Like that's the process, right? And so my first memory with this, I remember I was at a party and it was a Mexican couple with their kid, and at the time I didn't really know anything, but the kid had dropped something or stole it from the parents or something. I don't really remember what was happening. All I remember was at the time, I didn't know the verb traer. I didn't know the sentence structure or anything like that. And this lady was telling her kid, tráemelo, tráemelo. And I knew what she was talking about, just from the context. I looked at her, pointed at the thing, and she went like this. And I'm like, oh, she wants the kid to bring the thing. That's how you learn stuff, bro. And like this kid was all of 2 years old. I guarantee you he didn't know what those words meant at the time anyways. And she said it like 5 times. He kept looking at the thing, looking at her. He picked it up. I think it was her cell phone. He picked it up and he brought it to her. He didn't look in a dictionary and say like, oh, what is traer? Oh, traer means this. And he didn't do that because like it's your only language at the time. So like all you can do is figure stuff out through context. That's how you ingrain it in your memory. That's how you talk like I'm talking right now without thinking. I'm not doing a translation process, right? I'm literally just saying the concepts that come to my mind. So the mistake that you're gonna make, that people make when they're learning, is they try to relate it to English, which is not 100% a bad thing, but you're always gonna be like a step behind. If you look up stuff and you look it up in English, your brain's gonna say it in English first, and then it's gonna go to the next language. When you could just look up the picture in Spanish. You could look up the definition in Spanish. You could receive this stuff in Spanish so that is the context that you have, if that makes sense. Anyways, let's move past acquiring the language. I think you get the point of it. Step 1, you need to learn the alphabet. And you need to really learn it. You need to not say like, oh, this is just like English besides Inye and blah, blah, blah. Like, no. Learn it front and back. Know how to say the letters. Learn the sounds. There's only a couple sounds. Spanish is 100% phonetic. Once you know how to read, once you know how to make the sounds, you will never be incorrect about how you should say it. You might be incorrect because of yourself, but not because the language changed on you like English, right? So once you got the letters, the alphabet, once you got the alphabet and the sounds from there, like you have a strong base. Now it's just about learning words, right? And learning how to conjugate them. Again, I wouldn't attack it personally from the angle of how do I conjugate? Nah, like you don't even have to do that. This stuff will reveal itself to you. Like you will watch stuff and you will say, oh, every time they're going to do this, they say, voy a blah, blah, blah. Voy a ir, voy a hacerlo, voy a blah, 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 blah. Right? And you'll say, what's that? What's this? And you'll look into it yourself because you'll be confused about it, right? But you don't have to like start somewhere and like try to flesh it out and go look up more concepts about it. You can do that if you want to. I'm just telling you, like, when you actually just get a bunch of input, this stuff is going to reveal itself to you. And if it doesn't, then you can look it up if you're just that confused, right? Get the alphabet, get the sounds. Like I said, once you start building vocabulary, now you can actually have the most basic conversation. If you can ask someone how they're doing, you can say, I'm from here, and you can say, my name is this. Now, like, even if the conversation is like a complete struggle, they can tell you stuff. They can explain things to you in the most basic way possible, just like a little kid. Like, when a kid's 3 years old, they say, what's this? What's this? Why? What's this? And you have to explain it. And they might not even understand the explanation. They might not. Whatever. Like, it takes time. Like, you explain something 10 times, and one day it clicks. And that's how it goes. If you're not prepared to go through that in the language, then you're gonna fail. You're never gonna be good at it. Like, you have to treat yourself like a little kid. There's nothing to feel bad about. It's a completely new language. You're not gonna start off at the top. You're a little kid in Spanish, okay? Ask, what does this mean? How do I say this? What's that? What's this? Why y'all do this? Ask questions. Keep saying por qué, por qué, por qué, por qué. ¿Qué significa esto? Keep asking questions. People will explain things to you. Your knowledge base grows. Eventually, the question that you'll be asking will be more complex, right? You'll have all the basic stuff down. Here is where I'm going to start talking about applications, right? Up until this point, I don't have a problem with applications. Duolingo, all of that stuff. It's cool if you have no experience with the language. It will teach you new words, even if they are silly, like the elephant eats ice cream. Bro, you're never going to say that in real life. But whatever, that's cool. It's teaching you something. It's giving you more input. After a while, to me, it's a bit useless because you can just have conversations with real people. And they're like conversations that are applicable to your life. And that's the other thing too. Like relevance, right? You don't necessarily need to know every single animal in the jungle. You need to know stuff that you're going to talk about in real life. I know people that think in real life, lions and tigers are the boy and the girl of the same species. They just don't know anything about animals. Yeah, you could call them stupid, but whatever. They just don't know. Can they still have a conversation in English? Absolutely. Can they talk about their job? Absolutely. They can talk about stuff that's relevant to them. They just don't care about animals. I can't tell you a thing about NASCAR. I can't tell you a thing about real cars besides oil and oil filters. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to waste my time reading a whole section about mechanics in Spanish because, like, I don't care. One day I might care, but right now I don't. So, alphabet, sounds, relevant information. We're getting more and more relevant information, right? After that, it's just a journey, bro. It's literally just talking to more people and learning more stuff, and it never ends. Like, yes, you can be having full conversations in less than a year, but there's still going to be a lot of stuff that you don't know. There's still going to be a lot of jokes that go over your head. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you don't know. And so I wanted to save resources until the end because I made a bunch of videos like this before, right? And I have a bunch of other videos with resources. So I didn't want to fill this video with that. But just in case you've never seen those before, if you're a beginner, I suggest that you watch content that has Spanish and English, right? That might teach you this stuff. So I'll list a bunch of my favorite resources on here. First of all, there's a channel called Why Not Spanish, right? There's a channel called Lightspeed Spanish. Both are couples Both have a native Spanish speaker couple or partner, and the other one is someone that learned Spanish, right? Awesome, awesome channels. Mike Ben is someone that documented his whole process from month one to where he is now, which is like 3 years or something like that. Dude's super, super fluent in Spanish. Like, his process is amazing. If he didn't document it from month one, you would not believe it. You would say he's lying, like straight up. Ricky from Bilingue Blogs, awesome dude. He's a Spanish teacher. If you want to start learning, you could just start with him and you'll save yourself a lot of trouble. Who else? Mike, Ricky. Of course, right now I'm blanking when I want to actually tell y'all some resources. Whatever. Anybody that I didn't say, I'll put it in there, right? But those are some good resources to start with. You could branch out and find more stuff on your own, but just watch stuff that you already like. Watch it in Spanish. If you like anime, bro, Netflix has subtitles on everything. You could put Spanish on everything. You could change the audio to Spanish if you want to. Podcast, basically anything. Anything that you like in English, it exists in Spanish. I just want to make sure that I answered everything. Oh yeah, also something that I didn't say that I said in the thread. Reading, writing, speaking, and listening are completely different skills, right? There's lots of people that can read Spanish, mainly because there's a bunch of cognates, right? So like you see like inspiración and you're like, oh, that's inspiration. Yeah, I know Spanish. Like, not really. Like, that's really easy to see on the paper, but are you gonna see it? Or are you gonna hear it when someone says it in real life in the middle of 10 other words, right? So lots of people can read Spanish and they say like, yeah, I can speak Spanish. I just have trouble with hearing it and speaking it. It's like, you can't speak Spanish, bro. Like, if you have trouble with listening and speaking, like, that is the essential part of communication. Like, there's lots of people, even in English, that can read tweets or news articles in English, but if you talk to them at this speed, which to me is a very slow speed, they're like, I can't keep up. I don't know what you're saying. It's like, you just don't speak English that well, and that's fine. It's just something to work on, right? So, yeah, make sure you're actually talking to people. Like, you can't just read and write and think that when you jump in the water one day that you're just gonna swim. You're gonna drown, bro. I'm telling you right now. I've been there. So, yeah, get out there and speak. If you need to, if you have trouble hearing stuff, there's really only two reasons that happens. One, you don't know as much as you think you do, or two, you're just like nervous, right? You're probably never gonna get confused hearing someone say like buenos dias or como estás, something like that, right? But the minute they say something more complex, you're like, I just don't know what they're saying. But like, it's because they're speaking too fast. They're not speaking that fast, bro. You just don't know it. You don't know it, and that's okay. Like, you're overestimating your level of Spanish, which a lot of people do. Like I said, there's a lot of cognates, words that sound just alike, and so you think, oh yeah, I would just do this and I would be able to speak. Like, it's not that easy, bro. So hopefully I covered everything in this video. I wanted to keep it concise, but also try to cover a lot of stuff. If you have any questions, you can reply on here or the thread on Twitter. Like, I don't know what else to say at this moment, but I'm here to help every single one of y'all. I reply to every single comment on YouTube. I reply to all of the tweets that I ever see. So like, I'm telling you, if you want help, I will give it to you. Like, hit your boy up. I hope all of you that watch this and read this, I hope that your Spanish journey goes like you want it to. And hopefully I can interview you on this channel, because I interview people all the time. Once they get to a good enough level that they can make a video, bro, holla at me. Let's make a video. We'll inspire more people to learn Spanish. Y'all have a good day. We'll see y'all later. Peace.